Danny Garcia defeats Robert Guerrero with a comfortable 12-round unanimous points decision to capture the vacant WBC World Welterweight title. There was quite a few people who I saw online prior to this fight who were picking Robert Guerrero to win. There were also a lot of other people who were saying this is a 50-50 fight. Now, we all get predictions wrong. I get them wrong, you get them wrong, we all get them wrong. But there are some fights which come along where you get a lot of fans picking the upset. And they're the kind of fights which leave me scratching my head at the people who do that. And this was one of them. Going into this fight, Robert Guerrero has looked poor lately. He got beat up by Keith Thurman. He got dropped in his last fight against Martinez. He's looked shop-worn. And he's never looked impressive at welterweight anyway. His entire career at welterweight has seen him go life and death in just about every fight. That's not a good sign, people. When you're taking the amount of punches that Robert Guerrero's taken, and yes, he does have a good chin, but when you're taking that many punches, it shortens your career. You look at his fight against Selçuk Aydin. A lot of people felt he lost that fight. I believe that was his first fight at welterweight, his first and second fight. Took a lot of punches. The Andre Berto fight took a lot of punches. The Mayweather fight took a lot of punches. The Keith Thurman fight took a lot of punches. He fought that Japanese guy, was it Kamagai, the guy his name was? Took a lot of punches. Okay, against Martinez, took a lot of punches. This guy has been taking a lot of punches, and to me, he's looked shop-worn. Going into this fight, I only ever saw one outcome, and again, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet here or anything like that. This is the outcome that everyone should have been seeing. I get predictions wrong, but surely this wasn't a hard prediction for people to know what was going to happen. It was going to be comfortable plain sailing for Danny Garcia. And strangely enough, one of those other head-scratching fights in terms of the predictions people were making was Danny Garcia against Paulie Malignaggi. I saw a lot of people saying Malignaggi was going to beat Danny Garcia or make it very difficult for him. Paulie Malignaggi, God, he was even more shot than Robert Guerrero was. And there was people picking Malignaggi to beat Garcia. People, please. Anyway, as far as the actual fight itself, Garcia did his best Floyd Mayweather impersonation, particularly in the early rounds. And it was a pretty ugly impersonation, to be fair. He looked pretty horrible trying to do the shoulder roll and snap that lead right hand off like Floyd. It was pretty ugly stuff. You know, he don't have Floyd's smoothness. He don't have Floyd's quickness. He don't have Floyd's reach. When Floyd can land that straight right hand from distance against a guy like Guerrero, part of the reason he's able to do that, apart from speed, timing, and precision, is also the fact that he's got much longer arms than Guerrero. Okay, Danny Garcia don't have them long Floyd Mayweather arms. He's around the same height, but not as lanky in the arms. So he was looking a bit off key when he was doing his Mayweather impersonation. But as the fight wore on, after 4 or 5 rounds maybe, he got into a groove and he started landing really nice shots. And he looked more like he did in the Lucas Matisse fight, where he also boxed in the back foot. Yeah, I forgot to mention, Garcia boxed this entire fight pretty much in the back foot. He'd obviously looked at the Mayweather fight, and he'd also, I'm sure, looked at the Keith Thurman fight and felt, you know what? This seems to be the most obvious tactic to beat Robert Guerrero. Don't get involved in a trade-off with him. There's no need to. You're just giving him the only opportunity he has, which is in the pocket. You know, not like he's a particularly big puncher, but he's got an iron jaw and he throws a lot. So you're only going to give him opportunities to hit you if you're trading on the inside with him. So the best way, get on your back foot, stick a jab, counter punch, make him miss, make him pay, spin off the ropes, all that type of stuff. And Danny Garcia executed it pretty well, particularly for the second half of the fight, landing nice shots. Robert Guerrero's head was like one of those bobble head dolls, just getting knocked around all over the place. And you really don't like seeing that kind of stuff, man. A guy who's had a career as tough as Robert Guerrero, he's still in there in these 12-round fights, getting knocked around like that. I mean, his dad's his trainer and his corner, man. He should really be pulling him out of these fights, man. Forget about all that macho stuff. Is this guy even going to be able to, take care of himself in later life? Because when you take that kind of beating, later on in life, it catches up with you a lot of the time. So, I don't like the way that his corner are allowing him to take these type of beatings, man. It's not cool. So I think something needs to change there. Maybe Guerrero should retire. He's making nice money, but come on, man. Your health is your wealth. So it is what it is. As far as Danny Garcia's performance, yeah, it was cool. Decent performance. I think that Keith Thurman maybe dominated Guerrero for at least 10 rounds more convincingly than Garcia did, I would say. Thurman certainly seemed more comfortable for the first 10 rounds. It was only the 11th and 12th really where Guerrero, charged at him. Danny Garcia, I think he was landing more consistent power shots than Thurman though. Through, Thurman in the first 10 rounds against Robert Guerrero, apart from the round where he dropped him, I believe that was the 10th. He was boxing on the back foot, but was he really landing the kind of shots that was snapping? I mean, I can't remember now. I only watched the fight once when it happened, but I don't remember him landing them shots that were shaking Robert Guerrero's head all over the place consistently like Danny Garcia was. But at the same time, Thurman was able to keep Guerrero off him, at least for the first 10 rounds, a lot more easy than Danny Garcia did. So, I don't know, take your pick. I think Thurman probably won the rounds cleaner, without taking as much as Danny Garcia took. It's not like Garcia took a lot of punches, he didn't. But still, it was a similar sort of performance to Keith Thurman against Robert Guerrero. But as far as who Danny Garcia fights next, his mandatory is Amir Khan. Believe it or not, I think I talked about this in another video. We'll see whether that fight takes place. I don't know what the hell Khan actually wants to do. Does he even want to box anymore? Because he's probably still holding on to this Mayweather or Pacquiao fight. He's probably going to wait and see if Pacquiao can beat Burt, or he'll probably go in. Pacquiao can beat Bradley. He'll probably go in there and say, "Yeah, let's get the fight on, Manny." That's probably what. I don't know what the hell Amir Khan's doing. So we'll see whether he decides to take up that mandatory opportunity to fight Danny Garcia in a rematch. It's certainly a fight I'd like to see. I'd like to see if he could avenge that defeat. Other than that, Danny Garcia and his dad, actually it was his dad, Angel Garcia, has been saying that he wants Danny to unify. So if he's talking about unifications, then yeah, Danny Garcia could fight the winner of Pacquiao Bradley, although maybe a little unlikely since it's a Bob Arum situation and HBO. So you'd have to look at him maybe fighting the winner of Sean Porter against Keith Thurman if they're looking for a unification. And that would also be an interesting fight. So, yeah, drop your comments in the comment section below, people. Let me know how you felt, or even a Kell Brook fight. I forgot about Kell Brook, the forgotten champion at welterweight. But yeah, drop your comments below. Let me know how you felt about this fight and this performance. Where do both fighters go from here? Who would you like to see Danny Garcia fight next? Do you think Amir Khan is going to take that mandatory opportunity or not? And how do you think Danny Garcia would do against all the other top welterweights? How do you think he would do against Keith Thurman or Sean Porter? How do you think he would do against Pacquiao or Bradley? How do you think he would do in a rematch against Amir Khan? Could he beat Kell Brook? Would Kell Brook beat him? Let me know in the comment section, people. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.